I am so thrilled that Governor Terry Branstad just walked into the studio. And, Gov, let me tell you something. I watched you on Meet the Press yesterday. I've never had a chance to meet you before in person. You were so spot on. I'm about to nominate you, for the presidency. How are you, Gov?
Hey, I'm glad to be back as governor of Iowa. I just had breakfast with Rick Perry at the governor's residence just down the street here, and so it's pretty exciting time to be. Exciting time to be governor of Iowa. This is ground zero, and this is where it all starts. And we are so excited. The straw poll was a great success.
It was fun, huh? We had a great time. It seems like yesterday. It was.
It's
on
a state fair, and the food is free.
No. First of all, Governor, I'm watching all of this unfold. You know, that Romney's not participating, even though he won the straw poll in 2007. We have a lot to go through with you, and you have such a long history in this state, and people were thrilled that you decided to step in at a time of real great economic crisis for the state. You decided to come out of retirement and come back and
I
and
wasn't
be governor.
Retired. I was president of Des Moines University, just down the street.
I mean
here.
Political retirement.
Well, I know.
I know the whole osteopath thing. Don't try to press me on the osteopathic details here. But Governor, I want to talk
holistic medicine.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay. But I want to talk to you about what happened last night. Then we're going to back up to the straw poll, and then we're going to actually go forward to the caucuses. Last night, Rick Perry and Michelle Bachmann together at that big dinner. Now, here's the buzz, and I know you heard about this, and you were just talking to the governor a few minutes ago, Governor Perry. So Michelle Bachmann did not listen to Rick Perry's speech. She, I guess, was outside in her bus. I don't know, maybe something was going on in there, but she was outside in her bus. Then she came in to deliver her speech. But Governor Perry actually stayed and listened to Michelle Bachmann's speech. He listened to her, and I guess enjoyed listening to her. And what is there something? What's that all about? Did you talk to Governor Perry about that?
Well, my advice to all the candidates is...
Oh, come on. Did you talk to Governor Perry about that?
I talked to Governor Perry, and I said I think he made a good impression, but I think it's important that he spent a lot of time here. He's going to the state fair today. That's a good thing to do. He needs to get all over the state. I recommended that he do what Chuck Grassley and I do, go to all 99 counties, actively campaign, get out, meet with people, answer their questions, and I think that's how you win elections. I've always said, if you're running for state representative or president of the United States, you got to work harder than the other candidates. You need to go everywhere and be accessible and meet with the people. I have press conferences every week, and I think people appreciate having a leader that listens and somebody that, and he's got a record, of creating jobs in Texas, and I think people are looking for somebody that's going to reduce taxes and regulations and revitalize the private sector economy, and this administration doesn't have a clue. They want to do the opposite. They want to raise taxes. They want to regulate us to death, and that's killing the economy, and Obama's health care is something that's unaffordable and unsustainable.
Well, by the way, Eugene Robinson is still mopping up his face from what happened on Meet the Press with you on the panel yesterday. He was trying to trot this whole story, a Washington Post columnist, liberal guy, and he's trying to trot the story. Well, it was all the jobs Perry's created have all been these oil and gas jobs, and then you said... Well,
I was just in Chicago and talking to a company trying to get them to come to Iowa, and they said, well, I think we're going to go to Canada because they're going to Canada because Canada has reduced the corporate income tax to 18%. It's going to 15%. Their dollar used to be weak, is now stronger than ours. Their banks are stronger than ours. We used to be able to be. When I was governor before, we got IPSCO Steel, big steel company come down from Canada here. We've got all kinds of automotive component parts. We got Skyjack. We got all kinds of companies to come from Canada to Iowa. And now, because of the federal tax burden, American companies are looking at moving to Canada. It's crazy. We have got to change directions. We need somebody that understands it's the private sector that can create jobs, but when you penalize them for bringing profits back, when you have the highest corporate income tax almost in the world, it's a disincentive, and it's why America is not growing the way it should be.
Last night, I'm looking at some of the news accounts and some of the interviews of the people who were walking out of that dinner, and I think both candidates impressed. Michelle Bachmann did an enormous amount of retail politicking in the state. It was hard work over the last several weeks. She spent an enormous amount of time, got so much respect from the people. But then Rick Perry comes in, and he seemed to have wowed the crowd as well. Could Rick Perry be a real force in these Iowa caucuses, getting in this late?
Hey, I am so excited because we have a real grassroots campaign, and Michelle Bachmann deserves a lot of credit. In 48 days, she came from nowhere to come in and win this straw poll. But the straw poll is just the beginning, and now the caucuses are coming up. And we know last time it was Romney that won the straw poll, but then Huckabee beat expectations and parlayed that into winning the caucuses. And you know, I guess my advice now is to Mitt Romney, you better get here to Iowa before it's too late, because this is going to be a real contest. And this state launched Obama, and we're going to sink Obama. And the Iowa voters are going to decide who they think is the strongest and best candidate to lead this state and to lead this nation. And I know this state pretty well. And Iowans are spoiled by attention, and they want to see the candidates. They want to make their own judgment, and I think that we could have a tremendous wide-open race here. And obviously, Obama knows he's in trouble, and that's why he's coming to Iowa. But people
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to play devil's advocate, though. Okay, let's look at who almost won the straw poll. That's Ron Paul. Do you think Ron Paul is going to be the president of the United States or the nominee of the Republican Party?
No, Ron Paul has a rabid group of supporters, but and they come in from all over. But the fact is, I don't think there's much chance that he's going to win the caucuses. I mean, his best chance was in the straw poll. He'll do well in the straw poll, but in the caucuses where you have a much bigger turnout, I don't think it's very likely that's going to happen. Also, I think he hurt himself in the debate when he said,
a nuclear Iran is okay.
Yeah,
no biggie.
Boy, I'll tell you, that scared the heck out of a lot of people. I mean, you know, we fear for Israel, and we fear for America, frankly, if Iran has nuclear weapons. And that's a very naive position, and I think just about everybody else was just shaking their head.
Now, how badly do these candidates want your endorsement? I mean, are you going to get behind anyone? I know you're being coy here because you like everyone, and Bachman's so great, and Perry's so great, and everyone's so great. Any chance you're going to be throwing your support behind one?
I haven't ruled that out, but more importantly, I just want to be a good host. I want to encourage the candidates to come here. I want them to meet with the people of Iowa. I want to protect the Iowa process of the precinct caucuses. I think it's a good process, a good place for it to start. And I think that we can play a very important role in getting this country back on track. The focus needs to be on jobs and restoring fiscal responsibility. That's why I was elected governor. I came back because I love this state, and I just couldn't stand to see the increase in debt. Well, but I beat an incumbent.
Yeah, well, you're an institution.
The first time an incumbent governor lost in this state since 1962, and the reason for it was my predecessor plowed the state into debt and saddled us with debt, and Iowans abhor debt. And this president is putting the nation into the deepest debt we've ever been in. And Americans and Iowans in particular believe we need to balance the budget, and we need to focus on private sector jobs. And the way you do that is reduce the tax and regulatory burdens on business so that private sector businesses feel confident to invest and create jobs. And Obamacare is one of the worst things that's causing uncertainty, concern that the burdens are just going to be too great. And that's why a lot of companies are not expanding today.
Well, Governor, I'm looking at the time here, and I'm thinking, how long is it going to take you to get to the point where the president is landing to start his, as the RNC calls it, the debt and bus tour around Iowa? Will you be joining the president on that bus?
Well, no. As far as I consider, this is a political trip. And, you know, I was over in his last visit here when he came to Alcoa. And obviously, Alcoa is a great employer in this state, and we want them to expand and grow. But this one is a political trip as far as I can see.
But the White House says it's an official U.S. Government trip. It's paid for by the taxpayers. But did he
right
ask?
On the heels of the Iowa straw poll.
So
it sure is a political trip, and I think Iowans can see it for what it is. It's a political trip, and he is a great politician. I mean, this state launched him, but I can tell you there's a lot of Iowans disappointed. He didn't do what he said he would do. He didn't unite the country. He's too ideologically tied to the left, and their tax and debt programs have not worked. This Keynesian economics idea that we can just borrow our way to prosperity is a colossal failure.
Did he invite you on the bus tour?
No. Well,
Nope.
I guess he did. Well, I got a staff person that's telling me.
Did he?
They reached out.
They reached out? Well, what, did you not take the call, Gov?
Well, this is Veterans Day at the Iowa State Fair, and I'm a veteran, so I want to be at the Iowa State Fair.
Okay, wait a second.
This is the Iowa State Fair. This is one of the biggest events in the state of Iowa, and as governor, I think as a veteran, I'm going to be at Veterans Day at the Iowa State Fair. That's where I'm going.
Okay, so the president reached out. Was it a call, phone call?
They emailed our scheduler.
They emailed you?
Our scheduler.
Oh, they emailed your scheduler. We don't have a phone in the White House apparently to call the governor. But if he had reached you, you wouldn't have joined him on this bus tour.
I did go to the event they had at the Alcoa plant.
Right. But you see this as a political trip, so you really don't want to give it.
I see this as a political trip, and frankly, my schedule is already put together. This is the Iowa
president,
State
Governor.
I know, but this is the Iowa State Fair.
It's going on for several days.
And it's Veterans Day at the Iowa State Fair, and I'm a veteran, and I'm proud of it. And by the way, we have a Navy SEAL from Iowa who's going to be buried on Friday, and we are so proud.
God bless them.
Of the not only this Navy SEAL, but all the Iowa National Guard that has served over there. And I try to go to all of those funerals because I want people to know that we respect and appreciate the sacrifice that our military are making to protect freedom in this world.
Governor, I am so happy that you were able to make time for us. I mean, I know you had to squeeze this appearance in between the
Rick Perry and the Iowa State
breakfast, the Iowa State Fair, and I wish I was going to stay to be able to go to the Iowa State Fair with you. I went yesterday. I had a great time on all the rides with my kids. We had so much fun.
Did you see the big bull and the big boar?
I see enough boars in Washington, Governor. I don't need to come to Iowa to see boars, but I did see a pig just about to give birth. So I thought, pork, Washington, pork, Iowa, it's kind of all the same.
Hey, we have 18 million pigs and only 3 million people in this state.
Governor, it's so great to see you. Continue to do what you do. Your voice for the free market and job creation is so needed now, and you're just a great guy. I am so thrilled to have met you.
Thank you very much. Hey, come here early and often.
It's great.
Okay, we're glad you're here now, and come back.
Make me an honorary citizen. Okay?
Oh, we'll do
Texas has. I'm pretty much an honorary citizen there, so I need to be an honorary citizen. Thanks so much, Governor.
Thank you, Laura.
Governor Terry Branstad from the great state of Iowa. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Perry Bachman, the showdown last night. We'll give you the details. Don't go away.
The Laura Ingraham Show.